Hi. So I know you talked about making a peace sign, and really what it comes down to is anything that you want to create, you just have to know what tools are available, which is the hard part when you're new to the software. Completely understand. So we've got our toolbar over here, right? Your direct select and your selection tool are very important, but they don't create anything. So then I kind of move down. Well, our pen tool is great. The curvature tool is great. And then really it comes down to this rectangle tool that has things hidden underneath. So you try to think about what can I make using these shapes or the pen tool. And I know the pen tool takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's really, once you get the hang of it, it's easy to use and it opens up what you can create. So I'll grab my ellipse tool. If I click and drag, you see I can create any type of shape. If I hold Shift, it will remain a perfect circle. So you can start off with a circle. Whenever you have a tool, you can always go up here and you can change the color. You can change the stroke color. I'll make it yellow, hopefully we can see that a little bit. You can change the stroke width, and the stroke is the outline. And those are really kind of the main things that we go for. You can always use your selection tool and click on it and change the colors down here as well. So let's say I didn't want a yellow stroke. I could click on this stroke box here and then click on None underneath. Okay, there is a gradient option. We won't get to that for a little bit though. All right, so now you want to make a peace sign. And that can be a little challenging. I would recommend using the pen tool. So a couple of tips that would help me: if you do Command or Control R, that brings up your rulers here, and see how we've got this dot, that's the very center. These are the center of our shapes. So if I know I want my middle line to be here, and you can click inside the ruler and drag and let go. It's just going to be perpendicular, with whatever the ruler direction is, which way the line goes. Then, I'm going to kind of have to just eyeball the downward and downward, but I would use my pen tool. So I'm going to click off of the shape so that it's deselected and grab my pen tool. Now the pen tool is really great because it sees that there are anchor points here already, but if I click on it, it's activating the default shape color from this one because I have it set up here. Oh, and it didn't attach, I'm sorry. So you're good to go. Ignore what I was going to say. So I can click on my anchor point here, and I can click down here and let go. I'm going to hit V or click on my selection tool to end my pen. And all I did was make a little line, but you can't really see it, right? So I'll click on it with my selection tool, and by default it has a fill, but it doesn't have a stroke. If you're just making a line, you need it to have a stroke so that we can actually see it. And if we twirl down our layers, you can see, and I'm just going to hide my guides. You can do Command, colon, or semicolon. Okay? So now you can do the same thing again if you would like. Grab your pen tool, and I don't quite know where to put it, but we'll just kind of eyeball it. And then I'll hit hotkey V or grab my direct selection tool to end it. Pen tool. Now the good thing is I can use my direct selection tool, click on an anchor point, and I can use my arrow keys to move this. So just because I did it one way doesn't mean it has to remain that way. You can also use your mouse to move it. I just have better success normally with the arrow keys. One's probably a bit extreme. All right, so let's say now I want this bottom third or whatever to be a different color. I haven't made a closed shape that I can fill in with that color. So it gets a little bit challenging. So what you need to do is create a new shape. I'll use my pen tool. Luckily, I've got my shapes here as a guide. Oops. Now, sometimes you'll see here, so if you can see, let me zoom in for you. I want to close my path here, but see how it looks like just a minus sign and it deletes that anchor point. So sometimes when you're creating things, you need to just make sure that layers are locked. So I have my paths here. I'm just going to hit the lock next to them so they are frozen, so I can't grab them. So now when I grab my pen tool, I can create my shape and close my path how I'd like. So now, again, this is the default from before. I'll make it just green, let's say. And now I've got a green shape, and I'll just want to click and drag this to be below my yellow lines so that it looks like everything is the same size. Okay, so I know I went over that pretty quickly, but let me know what you think and we can talk further.